Bitcoin is dropping and MSTR is a shit company. Totally kidding. And what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Technical Solutions. And in this video, we're not going to be talking about MSTR or Bitcoin. We're actually going to be talking about Hershey's. There's a huge gap up based off of news that I'm going to be sharing with you in just a second. It went from overall lows of 175 to highs of 208. Overall, an 18.6% move. I want to give a huge shout out to our LPP trader that actually brought this to my attention. And it's because of that we waited for the opportunity to present itself, of it showing signs of a peak. And again, this is a very simple concept. I love trading overbought or oversold reversals. It doesn't have to be rocket science. You just have to wait for the criteria to be met. Became overbought, it was lacking progress, and then began to show signs of consolidation. Any reaction can be an overreaction, which means that there's potential for correction. As it became overbought, then I started adding to my short position, and the more it sold off, the more that I added. There is signs of potential support here. I have a price target of 192, and to see if I can take home a little bit over $10,000 of potential profit. So far, I'm up about $7,300, but this is the news that is causing Hershey's to skyrocket today. Feel free to check it out.
Watching today, Mondelēz and Hershey. Mondelēz reportedly exploring an acquisition of the chocolate maker, creating a company with a combined sales of nearly $50 billion. If we can pull these stocks up full screen here, I can tell you what we're seeing in the moves. Mondelēz moving to the downside off the news, down about 3%. Hershey's moving strongly to the upside, up nearly 15%. It was initially halted off the back of this news, but then it started trading again just about 10 minutes ago, right before we came back for our second segment here. This is according to people familiar with the matter who spoke with Bloomberg News originally. Mondelēz has made a preliminary approach about a possible combination with Hershey's moving forward here. This is also not the first time that Mondelēz has sought a deal with Hershey. They also sought a deal back in 2016, but then walked away after they were not able to reach an agreement on price. So it'll be interesting to see if we continue to hear news of these additional mergers. This isn't the only M&A news that we're getting on this Merger Monday here. If this is a bid ahead of the incoming administration to increase some of these deal making here.
You talk about the size of this deal, the value of this specifically, roughly $46 billion. That's according to data that was compiled here by Bloomberg. And just to put that in perspective, if this deal were to happen, it would actually then top the value of the year's biggest deal when we saw Mars's agreement here to buy Kellanova for nearly $36 billion. So again, when you talk about the size of what the deal would be in today's dollars, we certainly are seeing some excitement play out from the street here with Hershey. You mentioned the move to the upside. At the highs of the session, at least so far, it had been up just about 19%. That was the biggest intraday move that we have seen in just about 8 years for Hershey. Now it's up just about nearly 15%. But again, any deal is going to require the backing of Hershey Trust, giving it roughly 80% of the voting power of that company. And that trust has been slowly selling Hershey shares in an effort to diversify the holdings, and reporting that's being done right now. But again, any deal would require the backing of Hershey Trust. And Maddie, like you said, this is something that Mondelez has sought in the past. They tried to do it back in 2016. The offer was rejected by Hershey. So we, of course, will see how this plays out.
Absolutely. We've seen some pressure on the packaged food industry as a whole.
All right, and there you guys have it. So my biggest takeaways when it comes down to this is, again, this is news based off of a potential acquisition. Just like you heard them say, yes, this originally was something that they previously were talking about back in 2016. The offer was not accepted. It was rejected. And then at that point, you have to think about it. If this acted as a positive catalyst based off of the idea of an acquisition, if it ends up getting rejected, then you also have to be aware of how that might act as a negative catalyst for Hershey's itself if the offer ends up getting rejected, because then there's no acquisition. Or if the offer this time does get, accepted, then of course Hershey's could go higher for longer. So there's no question that this is something that I definitely want to be paying very close attention to. My short on Hershey's as of right now is just a day trade. I have no intention of carrying this position overnight. I actually have no intention of carrying this position for much longer than just a few minutes. I saw there to be an intraday opportunity because of an overreaction on the upside, and I was simply, again, waiting for that price action to show some selling pressure of people taking profits at extreme overbought and greedy levels. So again, you don't have to always catch every single candle from the lows to the highs. You can wait for the opportunity to present itself. And then once that price action and criteria begins to be met, then you can simply follow with, again, adding more to your position as that direction becomes favorable. Other than that, I'm super excited to follow up. Just wanted to make sure I kept you guys up to date. And the other thing that I do want to kind of bring awareness to is Tesla. A lot of selling pressure with Tesla today, and it does not surprise me. An overreaction to highs of 404. Fundamentally, Tesla's just running based off of hype. Fundamentally, Tesla shouldn't be trading at $400 per share right now. In the short term, it's very overbought with huge pullback potential, and I think today just showcases that. Never be afraid to lock in profits if your intention is to trade Tesla. Obviously, if your intention is to invest in Tesla, then your intentions are much different. I just want to make sure that you kind of prepare yourself for the volatility, as it's been an absolute insane past 45 days for Tesla itself. And Palantir, surprisingly, from highs of $82, finally Palantir is beginning to retrace on the 5-minute time frame, fully breaking below the EMA and the moving average. And if you look at this on the 30-minute, this is the first time in a long time that we've seen a retracement this big for Palantir, all the way back down to the moving average. Remember, these stocks are incredibly overhyped. It doesn't mean that you have to sell, but you can't be surprised when corrections like this or pullbacks like this happen. Now, they are incredibly bullish. So again, it goes for both sides. Know when to take profits, know when to reduce your exposure, and know when to completely be out of a trade if direction is less clear. So very excited to follow up. I hope that earned your thumbs up. You guys let me know what you think about my short on Hershey's, if you think it's too risky, or if it's something that, again, if it continues to sell off, you might consider yourself. Again, I trade live every single morning with our LPP team for $1 a day is what it breaks down to with the current sale we have going on right now. Before prices go up, if you want to jump on in, I want to remind you it's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and it breaks down to as little as $1 a day with the current sale. Second link in the description down below. If you sign up, you can watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.